Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great. Hit that like button, comment. If you guys could also go over to the 560 WQM YouTube page, you guys can watch Tobin and Leroy weekdays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. live, the entire show. We also put up best of clips up there as well. If you guys could subscribe to that channel and our show on all podcast platforms, that would benefit me. That would do right by me. I appreciate your guys' support everywhere and always. So if you could make that small move for me just for a little bit, whatever podcast platform you listen to, hit reviews and all that. Those are always good as well. And, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. So a couple things I want to get to here in the world of the NBA. We'll start with the Miami Heat because I want to laugh at some things that are almost it's sometimes great that reality is even better than fiction, right? So we were talking about this the other day, and we were joking about this a little bit on the show, and we were joking about this. I think I've talked about this on the channel too, but everybody is frustrated with Erik Spoelstra this year, and he's taken a lot of heat, probably more criticism than he's taken in a while, I would say. Definitely feeling like of the ilk of like 2015, 16 criticism for Erik Spoelstra, where he's like, oh, he's just a product of the big three and all that. But I definitely think that, I'm still a Spo believer, even with having my frustrations with him. But one of the things that I am frustrated with him is sometimes I feel like his maniac competitiveness can work against him, right? And there's a thing that he just won't do by principle. And I feel like at times it's I don't want to say cost the Heat games, but it definitely hasn't benefit the Heat in any way. And that is with his lack of use of the coach's challenge. And the funny thing is, like, one of the things I love about today's day and age with the internet is if you think it and you're wondering about it, someone's probably put in an article and the numbers together on it. And I really, really appreciate that because I would never do it. And this is the deep dive into the coach's challenge, right? And it just feels like, as a Heat fan, Erik Spoelstra does not believe in the coach's challenge. And we were talking about this the other day with the Bucks game, where it's like Damian Lillard's out there, he's flopping all over the place, and Erik Spoelstra's like, nah, not challenging. It's like, why won't you challenge, Spo? And Doc Rivers, on the other side of it, there was a play where it was Gary Trent Jr. hitting a three. He ended up like locking the arm of Andrew Wiggins while he's falling down to try and draw a foul. Didn't end up working for Doc Rivers, but he did it, and that just, it was like, man, well, maybe that stopped things. Maybe it made things feel better. Maybe it was whatever. And sometimes guys just do it because they're defending their star guy. Erik Spoelstra, we've seen from him, barely will look behind the bench and call for the challenge. He just won't do it. And it was funny enough because this writer, Stephen No, from the Sporting News, did a piece, Inside NBA Coaches Challenges, all 30 teams ranked by success and the strategy behind when they use them. Shout out to Stephen. So this challenge has been here since 2019, but now it had changed where it was usually just use it and then it's done. And so most people just save it. But then it became almost make it take. You get it, you keep it, you get another challenge, right? So the piece starts off with, though, a quote from Erik Spoelstra, who basically just says, I don't use them. I don't like using it. Erik Spoelstra, this is what it writes. Erik Spoelstra, who is not a fan of the challenge system, is at the opposite end of the spectrum. He is by far the stingiest coach with his challenges, using just 10 on the season. By contrast, Oklahoma City has used 57 challenges. Quote, I know our numbers are lower than other teams, Spoelstra told the Sporting News. Every call is like, he then, in parentheses, goes, twirling the finger, mimicking a challenge. I understand the competition committee is adding this, but I think it just looks ridiculous every single play. The players are looking at the bench, making the challenge motion. It's distracting. And it's crazy. You look at this right now. The Heat, he has the whole chart there. And you look at success rate. Like the Knicks have the number one success rate in the season. 27 successful out of the 37. They have a near 80% success rate. Pacers have done it 32 times. Been successful 24, 75% clip. Pelicans, 24 out of 32 as well. Same as the Pacers. The only team that is even close to the Heat in little used is the Wizards, who have 19 on the season, and they're not very good. But Spo has challenged 10 times, been successful 7. So he's actually, just by percentage, he is a top 6 challenger in the league, but he never challenges. He's not a volume shooter. You can't look into those numbers because he hates it. And the funny thing was, we had talked about this on the radio show, just joking about it, and I had put up an Instagram reel where I was like, Erik Spoelstra thinks the challenge is soft. And it was a funny bit, but it was also, Spo, it was also with Leroy doing his Doc Rivers, and Leroy doesn't mean Doc Rivers, especially for like 45 seconds before it gets really tiring on your throat. But even Dwayne Wade had commented he was laughing at it on Instagram and I don't know if he's laughing because he just knows it's true that Spo thinks that it's soft, or that he was laughing at the Doc Rivers impersonation. I don't know, but if he was laughing at the Erik Spoelstra, because he probably knows that Erik Spoelstra thinks it's ridiculous. And Spo does have some principles as a coach where it's like he hates foul baiters and he refers to it as trickery. He doesn't like trickery. Remember that viral video from the Lakers game this year where Bam Adebayo got mauled by Anthony Davis, and he was just telling the ref he didn't challenge anything, but he just told the ref, concentrate. And I'm just like, you can never, people are always like, you watch Spo get at the referees, but he's so brilliant at reprimanding them, yet knows the line. I've talked to Ron Rothstein about this because Spo's, I believe, only been ejected once in his career, and it was basically at the end of a double overtime game. And how does he do that? And he's just like, he just knows how to toe the line better than like anybody. He has so much restraint. And look, it's crazy. Like, look, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Look, the numbers are there for the Thunder, who aren't necessarily good at it. They're doing it at a 52% clip, but they do it all the time. And they have a what was the thing that Chris Finch said the other day? They foul on everything. And that's their method. So they're probably gaming it because they want to see if they can get away with what they get away with. It's almost like a Legion of Boom style, where the cornerbacks would hold all the time and people would get pissed about it, but you can't call it on every play, otherwise there'd be no football. So I just found it funny that something we were discussing from a couple of games ago now has statistical data backing it up. And now Spo on the record basically saying, yeah, I hate it. I don't like it, and I don't believe in it, basically. Is that the best method for your team? I think, you could be a little bit more lenient on it. Wasn't it Greg Popovich who said that he hates the way the game is being played these days? And he went with one of the most beautiful basketball movement teams of all time to destroy the Heat in 2014, even though he hated that style of basketball. Coaches adjust, and Erik Spoelstra has adjusted. But this is a weird stance. Like, this is a staunch, weird stance. I don't know if you can knock him off of this. I don't know if you could. But I howled with laughter. The first guy I saw retweet it was Wes Goldberg from Lockdown. I was like, man, that's tremendous. That is incredible that Erik Spoelstra is on the record just basically being like, yeah, challenges are soft and it's ruining the game and it's distracting. I just love that. It was a hilarious read. So shout out to Stephen No. What a piece by him. You guys can go check out it at the Sporting News and all the rest of the data that he throws out there if one is interested in that type of stuff. But that is the Heat leg on this. Now there's another story out here, which, look, there's not many teams we can make fun of these days, it bums me out. As a guy, a card-carrying member of Team Petty, although people don't think I've been strong enough on Jimmy Butler, There are people that I do wish could be, we could go at it a little bit, but the Heat have their own issues. I'm not really in a position to talk trash, which bums me out. Like, I want to make fun of Jason Tatum, still whining about his relevance. I would love to make fun of, things like that right now, but I can't. I'm stuck here. I would love to make fun of the Knicks not being able to be a real contender, but I can't. Sitting here in 4 games under 500 in ninth seed land. This I can make fun of. I thought that this was Central. It's NBA Central, but I had to look a couple times to make sure it wasn't Central. And it was, like, crazy. Breaking. Paul George is taking a break from podcasting to focus on a championship. He said, quote, I want to let the Podcast P family know that after today's episode with Dwight, I plan on taking a break from the pod to just focus on getting my body right, getting mentally right, and, helping the squad make a push towards our goal of finishing the season to give ourselves a chance to be in contention and compete for a championship, which is not going to happen with the Philadelphia 76ers this year. I saw there was some method that Joel Embiid's getting where, like, they have to, like, crack open his meniscus or something like that and replace it. Good luck, dude. But, yeah, he had, like, basically gone at his own team about competing after one of these recent losses that the Sixers have had. And basically, outside, the Heat's collapse is epic, but probably the only other teams that you could hold up as bigger disappointments or falls from grace are likely the Suns and the Sixers. And the funny thing is that he was, like, out here talking about the competitiveness of the Sixers or why they don't have enough. And it's like, this dude is out here podcasting left and right with, like, ridiculous, remember he did, like, a breakdown of, like, the team meeting that the Heat sent them to. I was like, you're podcasting about that? That's crazy. Even Duncan Robinson had the foresight where he goes, you know what? We need to back off this. It certainly wasn't doing what Paul George was doing. So I had to look at that. I was like, that's a real headline? Paul George is like, seriously, I have to step away from podcasting. That'll do it. Non-podcast P. We'll see if it makes it a thing, dude. We'll see if that is what turns it around for the LA Clippers at this time. But I have a feeling that they have bigger issues than Paul George's podcasting. Oh, man. Listen, dude, don't worry, Paul. One day you might be head coach of the Lakers. Just keep it up, dude. Keep it up. But I needed a good chuckle from that. And Sixers drama, misery loves company. It does dilute the pain a little bit.